Hello Posse, I'm PokéTubeTylerTCGC Tyler and welcome back to the PokéTubeTyler Studio, the channel that gives away a graded Pokemon card every single month. And today we're going to be talking about CGC, the grading company. And before I really get anything, I just want to say, CGC, thank you. You fucked up. Now, if you haven't heard, there's been big news in the card grading world here. In the, we follow in the Pokemon part of it. But CGC announced some really big news. Now you all know I'm part of TCGC, so my opinion is very opinionated, I guess, very biased. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But CGC, man, you really messed up. They went through a lot of changes. Now I'm gonna go with the pros of their changes, in my opinion, since there's a lot less pros than cons. Let's just put it that way. All right. So pros. So they merged all their companies. So there's CGC, CSG, all these different companies for different style of like cards. So there's like sports cards, Pokemon cards, everything. They merged it all. So now they're all one. They're all CGC. So there's no longer like CSG that you'll see on sports graded cards. So it's all one now, all CGC. That I do like. Now the number two thing that they did and they changed is they got rid of membership. You used to have to have a membership. You used to have to pay it like $15 at minimum to even grade through CGC. They got rid of that. Those two things right there, those are the only two things that I like what they did with the company. Now let's talk about the cons, because there are a lot of cons. You've probably seen the thing up, the labels. The labels are hideous. They had these really cool labels before. There was like a nice like electric blue, very cool looking labels, and now they just ripped off like PSA and SGC. They took like a cross between PSA and SGC and made these really ugly, hideous labels. I absolutely hate them. You know who has really beautiful and awesome labels and even lets you customize your own label? TCGC. Yeah, they do. They still have their awesome labels that they already offer, and you can even make your own label. Whatever you want to put on it, TCGC will allow you to do that. They are still unique in that field. Now CGC has these boring, regular labels that are not putting them like, okay, so PSA runs the grading company, and like Beckett has their own kind of unique looking labels. I like them. CGC have their own unique labels, and now CGC just put themselves in the same boring category as PSA. And then they kind of took a twist of SGC. SGC doesn't have the greatest looking labels either, but it's a cross of SGC and PSA. Now the other thing is they got rid of subgrades. Why? I don't know. They said, I guess, supposedly that more people chose not to use subgrades, but yeah, CGC is because you charge people for them. Don't charge for subgrades if you want people to use them. But subgrades help you identify why your card got that grade. If I get a card back and it doesn't have subgrades, I'm like, oh, I wonder why I got a 9. It can't be the corners, it can't be the edges, it can't be the surface. Why is it? If you get those subgrades, you can go and look at it and go, oh, that's why I got a 9. That's why they graded it a 9. You know who still offers subgrades? TCGC. You know how much TCGC charges for subgrades? Nothing. They come free, standard on all labels. Yeah, isn't that special? Isn't that great? Bad move. And now, not only did they get rid of the subgrades, they got rid of the decimal points. So now they're just going on a regular grading basis like PSA, 1 through 10, no subgrades, no decimal point, or no subgrades and no decimal points. So no longer can you get a 9.5, no longer can you get a 7.5 or whatever. It's all 7 or 10s, which is a horrible idea. I know that some of you are like, well, it's not a big deal, but it is kind of a big deal because having the decimal points gives you a more accurate grade. A lot of cards like PSAs, they just throw out 10s like crazy because they don't give you a 9.5. You get a 10. Overpopulates the systems where you have 10s floating around everywhere. Having a 9.5, having the decimals allows you to receive a more accurate grade. Now, I just think it's a bad move. I think every grading company needs to have the decimals because you don't need to be having a crap load of 10s floating around everywhere. It's kind of ridiculous and really just floods the market. So pretty bummed about that. But the worst part about this whole thing about getting rid of the decimal points is that now every CGC slab that you have at a 9.5, you spend $5, send it out to CGC, they're gonna automatically make it a 10. So now this card that you just got that was not a gym mint 10, not a 10, not 10 worthy, is now all of a sudden 10 worthy. So it's like, okay, so now you're just going back on your word, and this card wasn't a 10, but since we decided to change your mind, now it's a 10. So you just send it in, give them $5, and now your 9.5s go to a 10, and now you are just flooding the market with a shitload of 10s. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's kind of honestly disgusting that CGC is even doing that. I think if they wanted to change it and take out the decimals, that's fine. That's whatever. I mean, like, I hate that idea, but you leave the 9.5s alone. That's just like, hey, sorry, that's just how it is. Or you lower to a 9 if they really want the new label and the new slab, but keep the 9.5. It's like that. That's even cooler. This is like older. This is before CGC changed the ways. You know, like, this is a cooler slab in my opinion. But I think it's a horrible move. They're just going to be flooding the market. Kind of ridiculous. Anyways, in my opinion, it just gives you more reason to go great through TCGC. If you want some great pricing on services through TCGC, hit me up. Send me an email at PokéTubeTylerTCGC@gmail.com, and I'll get you some great prices on some amazing looking freaking slabs. All right. I hope that you're all okay listening to me just crap on CGC, but this is just ridiculous, and I feel like I needed to get it out there. And yes, kind of shamelessly plug TCGC, but everything that TCGC offered, that CGC offered, went away for CGC. So now everything that you miss from CGC, TCGC still offers it, and much, much more. All right. See you all in the next one. Love you. Peace. Bye.